I'm Sean.
I'm Adam.
And this is SasqWatch.
Bigfoot, with your big feet, I hope someday that we shall meet.
This is our season wrap-up for Season 2. We're going to be ranking some of the movies that we've had throughout the season. We're going to be giving out some medals.
Yeah, just kind of talking about the journey we've taken over the last 10 episodes of the show.
When I was a boy, I used to dream about Bigfoot all the time. I wonder where those dreams have gone.
These episodes are a little bit more laid back than usual. I don't have my shoes on.
I also do not have shoes on. I mean, I don't have like a drink of any sort here. I feel like a glass of I have some lemonade in the fridge.
Actually,
I should have had something like that.
That sounds really, can we fly some lemonade? To start things off, I want to ask you some of the same questions I asked in our season 1 wrap up, which is, how do you feel about Bigfoot?
I don't know. Don't you think he's getting a little old? Kind of been doing 2 years of Bigfoot,
The Bigfoot never gets old. So have your perceptions of Bigfoot cinema changed at all?
No, not really. No. I was looking over my ratings for all of these movies, and I it confirmed what I already know, that I like Scooby-Doo.
Okay, that's one way to take it. I look at season 2 as a whole, and I think that we really proved that Bigfoot can be whatever you want them to be. It's a much more flexible, malleable kind of, piece of urban culture than one might think at first. Because, we really went all over the place.
I will never question you again.
It's true. It does fit all around the world. He fits in a lot of different settings as a character. You could tell theoretically a lot of different stories with Bigfoot, but people don't do that.
Angel, go back to the camp. Go on. Angel, go.
Before we start, I want to do a quick thing of housekeeping here. We are going to be ranking the films of season 2.
Yeah, not overall along with everything else. That's something we'll do at a different time.
Yes, we are going to be making a master ranking list, which I believe we'll be putting up on the Instagram, which we have created for the show. So if you want to keep track of the overall every title we've covered list, you can find that there. And that list is composed by taking the averages of both of our rankings together.
Okay, so my bottom movie, that's what we're doing here. My number 14 of the 14 films we watched this year. I don't think it's going to be a surprise to anyone or Sean. It is Bigfoot or Bust.
You picked Bigfoot or Bust as your worst film?
We didn't even rate it. It got a 0 out of 5.
I'm going to go ahead and say that is also my bottom. That's not just my bottom movie of this season. It's not just the worst Bigfoot movie I've ever seen. It's one of the worst films that I've ever seen across all genres.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of stuff. And that movie was interminable. It
wasn't really even a movie.
Is a trampoline.
Oh, trampoline.
Are you sure?
I'm
positive.
Like that? Let's go check it out. Yeah.
Awful. It's just a series of terrible music videos.
And there are Jim Wynorski films I like. I am not above that pool. But man, that is a turd in the water.
Mm-hmm.
If there's no other higher purpose to this show, if I can stop anyone from watching Bigfoot or Bust,
don't watch it.
I really think that I will have done something good.
We're gonna get you with lust. No turning back, it's a must. There's just no giving up.
Well, we should at least mention how awful the original music is in it as well.
Oh, all of it's terrible. And yeah, lots of original music. It's all really bad. So far, I don't think we've seen a movie with original music that wasn't bad. So hopefully we don't have to run into that too much more in the future. At number 13, The Geek.
The Geek's at 13?
Yep. I gave it 1/2 star. I really didn't like it. I did not have a good time watching that.
Oh, let's do it again later, baby. All right?
all night long, baby.
What did you have at number 13?
It's not the geek.
Why not?
I guess I'll talk about the geek when I get to it. But I would
I
say
almost like retroactively put it at the bottom, just because of how much. I'm like, how did it get a half star from me? I don't, because it made me laugh so much with that music, maybe.
the geek's not at the bottom for me. I will say the one I put at 13 was neck and neck for 14. Like, I really bounced back and forth, but I had to put Bigfoot or Bust at the very bottom because it really does earn it. But right above it is Bigfoot is Real, which you may also know is the show Killing Bigfoot. I really disliked it. Part of that is just, it's a show, so it was like almost 6 hours of my life.
Yeah, that really hurt that one, I think, in the ratings. Because if you distilled it, I think there were enough entertaining moments in there to carry, to end up being like
85 minutes, maybe
in the
70.
mid-range and actually being somewhat entertaining to watch. Like, it could have been like a 3 or 3.5 star thing if it was that short, but it wasn't.
My biggest thing with that movie is I really truly don't believe that they believe in Bigfoot. So I think they're just doing it so they can have a show so that they don't have to get like normal jobs. And I don't know, it feels cynical. I'll never watch it again. I had to give it over Bigfoot or Bust though, because every now and then there would be something ridiculous I could laugh at, like the Bigfoot convention. I had fun in there.
Yeah, there's the guy playing his flute with...
Why not play something that has a pleasant sound to it?
Moving on to number 12, The Legend of Bigfoot.
With William Hurt?
Yep.
Right now, there isn't enough water in the reservoir to run the dam.
I gave that one one Bigfoot.
I can't. Yeah,
my bad. 1/2 Bigfoot. Sorry. The original music was awful. The animation was disturbingly bad.
Disturbing.
The plot was silly. The Bigfoot magical community was weird.
Do you remember when the Bigfoot
pine
farted?
cone paste? the fart flying. All of that.
Yeah. I'm gonna say that it made it higher than 12 for me, but not by much. So we may be talking about it again pretty soon.
What was your number 12?
My number 12 was the geek. It was the geek. I couldn't put it. It's funny as I think it would be to like put it really high and be like, no, it's great.
You already put it way too high. I put it too high. It should have been at the bottom, really. I don't know. I mean, Bigfoot or Bust is a non-thing. Number 11, Snow Beast, 2011.
2011. Yeah, I can't argue with that. I can't. I don't have anything to say, but John Schneider was really bad in that movie.
They were looking for lynxes.
Yeah.
We got to see Bigfoot on camera like 20 times.
Do you remember the ranger?
Let's go already.
I remember how bad they were with their food.
My number 11 was The Legend of SasqWatch.
Okay.
With that horrible like poop suit animation.
So far, you're just like one behind me.
Yeah.
Other than like Bigfoot is Real, like where we value that one.
Yeah, that's the benefit of this being like a shared experience, is that we'll often like suffer through something together and we'll be like,
Though we didn't watch all of these things together. Like, there was a handful that we watched separately. Shriek and the Mutilated, I think we watched separately from each other.
We watched The Geek together. I know that.
Yeah. We watched that, and Legend of Bigfoot. Thank goodness.
I didn't trust that you
would
would
have been hard to... I probably wouldn't have.
I was like, if I'm not there, I don't
can't believe that I watched all of Bigfoot is Real on my own. I really can't believe I pulled that off.
You've got to have 3 or 4 people back at camp
that if you do get a monster down, they've got to get to us and help us get that monster out.
My number 10 now, so we're to our top 10
Top
of our
10.
14. I mean, really, last year there only were 10, so 10 really is not good. But
No.
I have Snow Beast, 1977.
1977.
So yes,
yeah.
I did like it more than the other one, marginally.
Marginally.
It also got 1 Bigfoot out of 1, or out of 5, whatever. It just, the people falling down, the skiing I praised at the time, it was good skiing footage. The fact that the dude's name was Gar Seaberg or Seabird or whatever the heck his name is.
Gar and Tony. God, that movie's so hard to remember. It's
That,
so hard to remember.
I love the emotional arc with Gar and his wife and the other guy, that love triangle. That whole thing kind of makes that, it's so goofy. It kind of makes that movie for me. And his ski outfit.
His outfit. Oh yeah. Okay, that was your number 10?
It sure was.
All right, for my number 10, I also picked Snow Beast.
The 2011?
No, the
1977.
70s. Yep,
Oh,
1977.
So 2011's coming next, I guess.
I didn't think it was as atrocious as the previous films mentioned, so I felt like I couldn't put it below those because I didn't think it was a crime.
Right.
But it is a sleeping pill. It is. I just remember the experience of watching people
It is really boring. The couple clips we showed of just 30 seconds of just someone driving into a parking lot and then parking and then getting out of their car and walking into a building. And it's we don't need. What are you trying to establish?
Said you might be better off looking for work outside the ski business.
This is all I know how to do.
Number 9, I have Bigfoot is real.
There it is.
There it is, yeah.
I think
it didn't go that much higher than yours.
I think it's crazy high.
The dude that lost all the dogs, the fake footprints that they love to draw on everything, their team of hunters and snipers and everything, but they all switch titles throughout the series because they all just mean person with gun or person with camera or person with flashlight or whatever. It's just it's so funny that they repackaged it and released it twice under 2 different names, and it follows the long tradition of our Bigfoot stuff having 2 names. I don't know why so many of these movies and shows have 2 names. I think because they're all so bad that people are we got to find another way to sell this to people. We need a new tactic.
And I'm pretty convinced you've got Bigfoot activity on your property.
My number 9 is the 2011 Snow Beast.
Okay, there it is.
Yeah,
so you liked that one just slightly more.
Slightly more. I think
Bigfoot looked kind of good.
Bigfoot was just in it more, and I grew up watching Sci-Fi Channel movies, so I'm just a little bit more comfortable in that milieu.
That does feel about where that one belongs. Number 8. I have a little movie known as Cry Wilderness.
At 8?
It also got 1 Bigfoot from me, but it was the top of the 1 Bigfoot crowd for this season, so it beat out the 2 Snow Beast movies.
I mean, yeah, it definitely is better than the Snow Beast movie. Yeah. Okay, I mean, yeah, it's not good. It's just so ridiculous.
I mean, it's really bad. That's why it got so low. It is really entertaining with Paul and his misadventures.
Your father is in great danger.
All right, I'm not trying to say that I think Cry Wilderness is this gem of a movie, but I do feel like you're probably a little extra harsh on it because when we watched it, we didn't want to pay for it, so we had to watch it on Daily Motion.
The ads did hurt that film experience a lot.
How long?
I had time to process everything I saw minute by minute. So I'd see a minute of the movie and have 3 minutes of Nancy Pelosi's And then I would already have like finished processing that whole minute of the movie. It's like watching a movie on dial-up internet or something. It
took well over 3 hours for us to watch it.
Yeah.
And it was during a local election cycle. So all of the ads were like, that's why it was Nancy. We have no stake in Nancy ourselves, but we had to watch the ad over and over.
It wasn't even about Nancy Pelosi. It was like about another person's relationship with Nancy Pelosi. But it doesn't matter because all we heard was Nancy Pelosi over and over and over.
We would get a precious 3 minutes of movie. We're like, oh, the ship's moving, like the shark is working.
Yeah.
And then it was just like, I love Nancy Pelosi. And we'd be like, no. No.
Paul.
My number 8 is Letters from the Big Man. A movie that I think is nothing more than just hippie claptrap mumbo jumbo gumbo. That movie is sure, it's kind of positive, maybe it's not offensive, I guess. If you if you're an adult that still water paints with your finger, you might like it. But I just thought it was ridiculous.
I'm not gonna argue with you. I liked it more than you did.
Sure, I knew you did. I knew you did.
The woods looked really pretty.
I don't care, but the woods look pretty.
Don't you just want to go out and hug those trees?
No.
You want to be my friend or what?
The movie felt to me like a nice breath of fresh air, and not in the way that people mean something new and special, just in the sense that sometimes you go outside and you take a deep breath and you're like, it's nice out here. It doesn't usually take very long. You don't think much about it, and then you go about your day.
You say that, and I just picture Bigfoot standing silently watching them have sex on the porch.
And then her talking about how she needs a man like Bigfoot.
Yeah, I remember her car.
He squeals like a pig.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just think your argument. I'm does that hold water? Is that him being serious?
What about the ecological message? I am being serious. That the movie's very pretty in most spots. I guess the breath of fresh air thing. I thought about it a little bit before I said it, but not a lot. It's not that good.
He snorts like a pig sometimes.
Number 7. Yeti. Is it just called Yeti?
It is called, yes, it's called Yeti.
Okay. Yeah, 2.5 is what I gave that one. So a nice step up from 1 from Wilderness. Yeah, that movie was bad. There was humor to be had, but it wasn't, it was at the movie's expense.
Hey, is that chocolate, huh? No.
It's a chocolate. The chocolates.
That's definitely the best thing for that movie, that the dude's just holding on to
chocolate.
They're running for their lives. He just holds back. And he's like, I'm gonna eat this chocolate.
Now is when I'm gonna eat the chocolate I've been saving.
About to escape, or at least he thinks they are. Yeah, that.
Yeah, it's higher for me.
Just the fact that they eat 8 people and he still had chocolate. He didn't eat the chocolate, but he was like, I need to save this chocolate. I'm gonna eat that dead body first. I don't want to waste I don't want to spoil my dinner.
I would have eaten them together. I would have flavored the people with chocolate a little bit.
Either way, no. No, you eat the chocolate.
My number 7 was Cry Wilderness. It definitely made it higher for me because your argument about Letters from the Big Man is it looks pretty. The B-roll of Cry Wilderness is the one to get excited about because that was a lot of animals. Just a lot.
There was a lot of
animals.
That was really cool. It almost got rated a little higher just for that.
Hitting through the Daily Motion ads was easier for me because of how how sad you got.
How much it affected me.
At a certain point, Adam turned to me and he was like, how much is left in the movie? And I was like, about 15 minutes. And Adam's just like, I don't measure time in minutes. I measure it in Nancy Pelosi's. I was like, we got a while. We got a long while left to go.
Number 6, The Shriek of the Mutilated. That's what I've got next.
Okay.
2.5 is what I gave that one. Same as Yeti. Yeah, Shriek of the Mutilated. The popcorn song.
Popcorn song, I knew it. I knew you loved that popcorn.
Anybody want any popcorn?
And probably the most entertaining scene in any movie that we've watched yet in that beginning. It has nothing to do with Bigfoot. Really, the movie doesn't have much to do with Bigfoot, if anything. But that scene with the toaster.
The toaster is... Yeah, I think it's a
6.
terrible movie, but it is very entertaining in certain spots. There are stretches where that is not true, but there are some high highs in that valley.
I want to be clear that other than that toaster scene and the popcorn song, the rest of the movie is something I really don't care for. Like almost nothing else. I mean, there are scenes that make me laugh.
End.
The very end, yeah. It's like you did the same ending basically from Rosemary's Baby, but just like completely whiffed it. Just completely whiffed it.
Yeah, I think if you told people the end of that movie, they wouldn't believe you. They'd be like, this person's making stuff up.
White meat or dark?
My number 6 was Chill Out Scooby-Doo. And I'm going to say I love Scooby-Doo.
You gave it 5 big feet.
No, it's a great movie. I just feel like
there's no way you gave all those other movies 5 big feet.
I mean, it's a Scooby-Doo movie, so I love it. So it's hard for me to not give it, all the things. But I just feel like ultimately it is a Scooby-Doo movie and,
Not so much a Bigfoot movie.
Yeah, I just feel weird putting it at the very top of the Bigfoot list. And maybe I know that it's going to be really high on your list. So put it at number 6. Very, very entertaining movie. Great. I'll always love Scooby-Doo.
I suppose I get what you're saying. So we are on to number 5, correct?
Top 5,
Our top
yeah.
5. I've got Letters from the Big Man. Or Letters to the Big Man. Whatever it is, I don't remember.
Feel us with your heart.
I wish I had a man like you.
Remember the middle of the movie when it just hard cuts to the Tempest? And we were like, excuse me? What are we doing now?
Yeah, I thought it was a flashback, and you didn't think so. And then we kind of looked it up, I think, and it's just not. It doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make
Number
sense
5.
for it to be number 5.
There you go. Yeah, sure it does. It's better than all those other movies.
For my number 5, I picked the movie Yeti from 2008. And this again just goes back to me being
Letters from the Big Man's better than that.
Not for me, it's not. I grew up watching Sci-Fi Channel movies, and you tell me that there's a group of kids getting picked off one by one.
Group of kids who haven't learned the full range of their acting potential yet.
Sure.
We may be here a while, which means we have to turn that fuselage to some kind of sustainable base camp. We're gonna have to clear out all the bodies and lay them out in the snow.
Oh, I'm gonna be sick.
Number 4. Yeti, giant of the 20th century. I'll be honest, I had to ask why I liked this film to our editor because I couldn't remember. I don't remember it super well. I remember it was about a giant Yeti man.
You don't remember him?
That he was very expressive and that he was screaming a lot, and that he was doing a lot with his face. That he as much as he could because he didn't have any real dialogue. So that was I remember liking the special effects when they had him in the cage and they were flying him across the country.
Do you remember when he gave him the fish and they pulled a smaller fish out of the big fish?
Something feels so right to me about an Italian kaiju movie. I don't know why, but I want more.
I think for me, the top 4 are actually all movies that I would like probably watch again. I think that they're
I could watch Yeti Giant of the 20th Century again. When I watch, I'd watch these other movies again. I don't think I will. I'm not gonna rush to it. But if somebody put them on, I wouldn't be like, turn that off.
If you walked in a room and saw someone watching The Geek, would you say something?
How far in are they? I need to know that before I can even decide whether I can help them or not. I'm getting out of there, that's for sure. I guess I question how I ended up in this situation. That's certainly something I'd ask myself.
Okay.
Is it something about,
So my number 4.
I think I'd honestly be shocked. I don't know what I would do. Just I can't think of any person where I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. I'll leave you to it. It's just...
I like to imagine you just go full on like, stop!
So what are you doing?
My number 4 is Shriek of the Mutilated.
Okay. Why did you like it more? I mean,
when we first covered this movie, it was our second episode of season 2.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I really didn't like the movie, but I rated it, I think, a Bigfoot and a toaster.
Yeah.
And I said later on I'd figure out the value of that toaster.
Yeah.
It's a pretty valuable toaster.
It is pretty valuable. That scene carries a lot of weight.
It's awesome.
I mean, it made it in the top half of my ranking, and without that beginning party sequence with that song and that scene in it, I think that movie would have just like...
It's delightful.
I think I would have forgotten it alongside many of the others.
Keith, to success.
All right, top 3.
Top 3. Prudence and the Erotic Adventure of Bigfoot.
That is also my number 3.
Is that the name of that film?
It's Sweet Prudence and the Erotic Adventures of Bigfoot.
That was close. I would not say that they go on multiple adventures in this film.
Okay.
There's one. I mean,
what a weird rock to throw at that movie. Let's just kick things off.
That was just in defense of me saying the title wrong. I was doing what I could.
Okay, Sweet Prudence is the most positive
There's
film.
the Loch Ness Monster part at the beginning, but that's more of a flashback than an adventure.
Sure. But like I was saying, Sweet Prudence is the most positive film that we've covered on the show. Like, just the energy of the
Letters
movie.
to the Big Man.
That movie is dour, all right? That movie is dour. The guy's worried about people cutting up Bigfoot's brain in some rhesus monkey lab in New Jersey. But no, Sweet Prudence,
Has a sexual assault in it. Bigfoot sexually assaults that man.
That man's awful. And he became a better person after that. If you remember.
He did. I suppose that's problematic in and of itself.
Sure.
But that is what happened. It did make for a positive vibe going forward in the movie. And that scene of him like missing Bigfoot and like wishing Bigfoot would love him instead of Prudence was
reminiscing
really
about them
funny
on the swing.
Yeah, that was really funny.
It
was a funny movie in general. It was trying to be funny and succeeded at being funny, which is something that very few of these movies have done. Most of them aren't trying to be funny, I'll give them that. But the ones that have tried to be funny have not succeeded very often, so...
I think the Sweet Prudence...
That gives it a big bonus.
It works better for me on that like flower power level than Letters from the Big Man does, where I feel like Letters is trying to lecture me about some weird responsibility I have to the woods, whereas Prudence is just like, we just like being out here. Like, we just think it's cool to like go out and like put our bare feet in the grass. And remember there's that lady named...
Bare feet, right?
Yeah, remember Flower ran the like, yoga
nudist colony?
Yeah, the nudist colony. And I remember she got mad at the one dude and took his gun and threw it in the lake because she was like, "That's where guns belong." And I was like, "Good for you, Flower. You're going to run this colony the way you think it should be run."
No, the device you've inserted allows you to hear my thoughts.
Prudence had a whole chart about Bigfoot, like sightings and like facts, and like she did more work than half the professors we've met in these movies about like, what Bigfoot is.
I mean, the film did more work to put a story in front of us, which is shocking to me in a film that is meant to be an erotic film, because it makes me look back at all these other movies that we've watched and be like, where is your time going? Like, what are you doing?
What are you guys doing?
Yeah, like, how are you not giving us a story that has more than like 2 plot points, but you're making it last an hour and a half? Like, and they're balancing this whole other thing that they're actually trying to sell with the movie, and they still manage to have a better plot than like half of these other ones.
You smell like cat pee.
All right, what's your number?
The Abominable Snowman of the Himalayas.
Okay. I was hoping that would go up high for you, because I know that it's a little dry in spots.
It is. I mean, it's in a different world that's as boring as something like Snow Beast. But I think they've got actors there that elevate it. They've got a script that like occasionally actually has interesting dialogue between characters.
Looks great.
The environment actually feels like it has an effect on the characters, which is something that not very many of these movies have done, despite most of them taking place in like a somewhat dangerous environment.
Creature may have an affinity for man, something in common with ourselves. Let's remember that before we start shooting. Sure. Is he getting delirious?
It was a Hammer production. It was kind of schlocky, but classy and fun. Yeah, it was like the classy version of American B movies.
My number 2 pick is Yeti, Giant of the 20th Century. I just thought it was such a fun, bonkers movie. I loved every time.
It was pretty crazy.
He would start screaming. He'd wake up and just...
Every time he woke, oh my gosh. I just remember the whole sequence where like the Yeti's in the warehouse.
Yeah.
And like his heart's like giving out or whatever. And he like has to kill those guys.
Yeah.
That's because they like shoot the doctor. The big chunk of the movie just came flooding back to me.
Yeah.
Like I said, I couldn't remember this movie at all earlier. That was really entertaining.
Thank God.
It was kind of like...
for the Italian film industry. That's what I have to say. They make an entertaining movie.
That was fun. It was a fun movie. Yeah, I mean, I'm not upset that it made my top 5. I only have it a couple places different from yours.
I really got a kick out of it. It's an unconventional Bigfoot movie. It's definitely more of a kaiju movie to me.
It's a kaiju movie with the standard like caveman plot. Like Scooby-Doo has an episode about that too, where you get like the caveman frozen in a block of ice, and then you unfreeze him, and now he's the caveman in the modern world. But they just decided to also make him Bigfoot and also make him a kaiju.
It felt to me like somebody told the Italians to make a Bigfoot movie, and they didn't quite understand what Bigfoot was.
They were like Bigfoot.
We got it. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, they asked somebody, and they're like, real big, hairy guy.
Real big.
And they're like, okay, real big, hairy guy. We've seen real big, like Godzilla's real big. Okay, so we'll do that. Big, hairy guy.
Okay, what was your number 1?
Chill Out Scooby-Doo.
I knew it. I knew it was going to be Chill Out Scooby-Doo.
I gave it, it's the only film I've given 5 big feet to, so it's my reigning champ.
It's Scooby-Doo.
You know? I mean, like you said, I can see your argument. It's not really a Bigfoot movie or Yeti movie or SasqWatch movie, but we watched it in this show, so number 1.
I put that in the show for you just to like help Adam get through the middle of this season.
Yeah, it did.
Well, my number 1, as you probably have guessed, is The Abominable Snowman of the Himalayas.
Yeah.
I think it's a really classy movie.
It is.
I really enjoy the atmosphere of it.
The doctors and professor characters feel like they actually are, you know, like they
Yeah, it's just got a sheen of genuine science fiction intrigue to it.
All right, that's what the people wanted. Another new concept for humanity. You're nothing but a cheap fairground trickster.
And that was season 2.
Yeah. Next, we've got some little awards to give out.
Call them medals.
Call them medals.
I'll let you give
just
out
for
the medals.
some movies that achieved, more in certain categories.
This valley is going to flood.
Flooding's good for business.
First, in the category of most big feet.
The winner is The Legend of Sasquatch, with 20 plus big feet in the movie.
Next, in the category of most kills by a Bigfoot, not going to be The Legend of Sasquatch on this one, I don't think.
This one goes to Yeti, giant of the 20th century.
That makes sense. How many kills did he rack up this season?
11 to 14, because we couldn't tell
The
how
elevator?
many Italians were in the car that he threw.
The most screen time to any Bigfoot, Yeti, Sasquatch, or otherwise missing link adjacent character.
I am very happy to announce that this does break season 1's record, coming in at
That's
a
good.
whopping around 12 minutes and 30 seconds of screen time is Yeti, giant of the 20th century.
That's amazing that he was able to break through. I mean, he was kind of the main character of the movie, so it makes sense. I mean, obviously he wasn't, since he was only in 12 minutes, but but he was the main focus of the movie, so we got to see him a little bit more than we usually do. And let's just all be thankful, because the two runners up are like The Legend of Sasquatch and Bigfoot or Bust.
Yeah.
So
do you have a best Bigfoot of
best
the season?
Bigfoot. Let me look here. Well, if he had just been in the movie more, I want to say the one from Cry Wilderness. I really do.
Really?
Because of how ridiculous that one was, with the Bigfoot going into the boy's dreams, and, speaking to him, and this weird magical connection. You can teleport to London or wherever the heck. They're probably just New England, but either way, he could teleport. Or apparently, he's got the amulet power. He gives people amulets. I guess he makes them. He's a jeweler.
I never knew an animal that could open cans. I couldn't crush one of these.
The geek gets extra points for the for the compartment.
Hey, how are we gonna get this done?
Just cut a hole in it.
Yeah, I guess we're just gonna cut a hole in it. I am saying best Bigfoot is Abominable Snowman of the Himalayas, but I think Yeti, giant of the 20th century, is the most acting I've seen someone do as Bigfoot.
Okay, that's probably the one I should have said. I'll go back and say Yeti. That's not even fair, because I already said earlier how that's the only one we've seen that feels like a real performance. So yeah, I'm going to go back and say Yeti, giant of the 20th century. But special runner-up Cry Wilderness with his magical Bigfoot.
There's a lot of lore going on.
All the animals in the forest needed me, so I got up.
Adam didn't participate in this, so I don't know if we can crop him out for a second or do something with Adam while I'm doing this. I read a book. And I didn't plan on I'm gonna cover this on the show, but I read the whole thing and I am gonna cover it on the show. And I'm gonna spoil it. So maybe we can put in a time code of when to jump to if you want to skip the book part. I bought this book because I wanted to read about the Yeti killing people. And it takes place in the Himalayas in 1924. And it's pretty much promising any readers that they're gonna read a movie, or they're gonna read a book about a Yeti killing people. It's 663 pages long. The first about 250 pages is about this rich guy dies under mysterious circumstances in the Himalayas, and a team assembles to go and find his body, and you get to read all about them buying their shoes and their tools and their equipment and all the fun and joy of that. And then they go and they climb a practice mountain, and then they go and they get on a boat, and then the middle, like 250 pages, is them climbing the mountain. And they don't just climb the mountain. They go up the mountain and then come back down the mountain and then make a base camp, and they go up again and they come down again, they go up again and come down again, and somebody falls and dies and they have to go all the way off the mountain, and they go all the way back up the mountain. And then the last third of the book, one of the Sherpas comes and is like, Yetis have attacked base camp and they've killed everyone. And I was like, oh, there it is, there it is. So they go down there and they pretty quickly figure out that it's not Yetis, it's a team of Nazi mountain climbers. Basically what this all boils down to is that the guy who died on the mountain was a spy who got incriminating photographs of Adolf Hitler having graphic sex with underage Jewish boys, and that the Nazi mountain climbers were there to kill them and get the photographs. So there's a whole to-do about that. And then at the end, they kill the Nazis and they go, and some of the characters decide they're gonna climb the mountain anyway. And I was like, sure. And the other two go back to the bottom of the mountain where there's still like 2 or 3 Nazis there. And then the very top of a page, right, it was after page 600. It's like a couple sentences, maybe even one. There's a flash of white fur, and the Nazis are dead when the characters wake up. And you're like, could that have been the Abominable? And they're like, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. And then you meet Winston Churchill, and he takes the photographs of Hitler having sex with children. And the end of the, I keep calling it a film, the end of the book alleges that Winston Churchill used those photographs to blackmail Hitler to stop the bombing of London, or somehow help with that. So I'm just letting you know, if you ever see this book and think, oh, I'd like to read that because I like Yetis, like, I'm just, that's what it is. So there you go. I'm never going to read this book again.
I'm a broken man, dog. A broken man.
Looking ahead to season 3, what do you want from the show going forward?
It'd be nice if we watched more good stuff. I mean, we watched the Scooby-Doo movie. It'd be nice if we found something that was actually Bigfoot-centric and good. I like the variety that we kind of got this time. We weren't just watching the killer movies. We watched the animated movie. We watched some, maybe some more stuff from other countries would be fun. I don't know how many other countries have the same kind of Bigfoot obsession that our country seems to have.
Oh, we're definitely at the front of the pack by a wide margin.
Yeah. But I'd like to see what other people have to offer in that regard.
I agree. I like the variety of season 2.
I want to see more magical Bigfoot. I think that's fun. I don't understand it, but I like it. I'd like to see more kaiju Bigfoot, like I said earlier. That'd be fine.
I have something really special in mind for our season 3 premiere. We are going to be doing a special episode to kick off next season called Adam versus Bigfoot, where we're going to take a slew of films about Bigfoot fighting other entities, other creatures, forces, could be aliens, could be D.B. Cooper. We're going to get a bunch of those films together, and we're going to randomly generate 3 films in a row, back to back, which Adam will have to watch in one sitting.
One sitting? No.
One sitting. It's going to be crazy.
We're going to pick the 3 shortest ones.
No, we'll see what the dice give you. We'll see. Who knows what it'll be.
So no more Bigfoot versus movies after that.
We'll get into the litigation of Adam's Law when we get there.
I've been meaning to talk to you about that, princess.
About what, exactly?
The rations were really running low down there, and I noticed we're orbiting the Borgium Nebula, whose meat markets are second to none. Can I get some Traptolevicon steaks? Talk about a protein.
All right, so you'll see us again. We don't know when, but it'll happen eventually.
Yeah. We're not stopping doing content. I don't know why you would even think that.
Just letting them know. I'm just letting people know that they'll
I was telling them.
Oh, sure. Do you have anything else you want to say to our viewers before we tap out?
No, I hope you guys had fun. Hope you have fun. Watch some Bigfoot movies. Tell us which ones that you want to see us cover. You know, enjoy your summer.
It probably won't be summer when this goes up anymore.
Could be.
Could be summer in your minds, in your imagination.
Yeah. It's always summer somewhere.
All right, with that.
Unless it's like...
That might be true.
Fall or spring. Somewhere else. See ya.
The big final swing. All right. Goodbye, everyone.
SasqWatch.
He's probably gonna die from disease in like a week. He's been exposed to all sorts of crap he's never been around before.